live.
Hey, we're back again, Grappling Dads. Paul's back, finally, off vacation. Here with my good buddy Ben this time, because Kip, in fact, is on vacation. So
You guys and your vacations. I'm jealous.
I know.
I was just going to say, Top Mount had a tournament they sponsored this past week.
That.
And apparently it went really well. I saw Al's Instagram stories or whatever they're called. And it looked like they had a cool setup there. It sounds like it went well. They've got another tournament coming up Saturday, May 1st in Des Moines, Iowa.
Nice.
Subspectrum BJJ. And they're sponsoring the fastest submission for $100. So that means you actually have to compete to get the money there, Paul.
You know what I could do, though? We could roll and be like,
Yeah.
let's make sure that the fastest submission happens. We split it.
There we go. Shh.
Yeah.
Is this not live, is it?
That pro tip for all you guys out there. Just wrist lock me real quick.
Yeah,
It'll
right?
be fine. I'm not doing a takedown. He's not going to do it.
He's just going to butt scoot.
Let's scoot into bottom position. You just wrist lock and we'll be done.
Right. As Ben knows, dead guard is my favorite. Yeah. Just kind of lay there like, come on.
We call it the silly salamander.
What if you just pass out? Does that count as a submission?
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
he's
As
done.
long as both opponents are on the mat, I mean, it counts.
You guys could submit each other at the same time, and then you both win $100. Is that how that
Double
works?
knockout. How could you do a double knockout? If you both get the cross collar from standing,
Yep.
and you just it's kind of
Hold
like
it.
attrition.
Just hold it.
And then
Hold
just
it.
1, 2, 3, tap, same time. Wow, that's 3 seconds. All right, shit.
Yeah, I like that.
$100 a piece.
$100 a piece. Al, do you do that? $100 a piece? If
Schematics.
it's a double submission?
I don't know if Al's watching. I can check.
Come on, Al.
I'm trying to do 72.
Al's podcast is To the Top. So check that out too. It's excellent. Way better than this show. Don't tell anybody. They'll leave.
Kip always says their podcast is not as good as us, and then you say their podcast is better. It's somewhere in the middle.
It
right?
is. It is.
Got the yin and yang.
That's right.
I haven't heard it, so I'm just keeping myself here.
I'm not good at marketing. So
We know. Why do you think you brought me?
yeah, that's exactly why I brought you.
What are we talking about? I forgot.
Culture within the culture, right? So here's the thing.
Okay, go for it.
All right, time out. Hold on. I was walking in the door, and I had a story I want to tell you.
Oh, no. Hold on. We were going to guess this story.
We're gonna get a story. So Ben comes in. He goes, "I got a great story. I'm saving it for the show." So Austin says, "Let's guess what the story is."
It's Gordon Ryan's next opponent.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna guess you got in a fight.
No. Somebody got in a fight.
Ooh.
All right. This past weekend in Pennsylvania, it was the CFFC. This guy was in a grappling or in an MMA fight. He was grappling up against the fence with a guy, and he felt his finger get pinched and twisted, and he heard some cracking and stuff. He's like, all right, well, that's weird. Went back to his corner. Time was up, so went back to his corner, sat down, and all of a sudden, people just started circling around him. Ripped his finger off right at the second knuckle. Gone. Couldn't
Ripped it?
Gone. It's gone. Wow. They showed it, and you see it's like,
Oh no!
and they couldn't find it.
Somebody
They had to turn the lights on, and they're asking spectators to walk around looking for it because they had no idea where it went. He was like, I didn't know it came off. He's like, that was crazy. And then when they were brought him back in the back room and they cut his glove off, it was jammed down in his glove.
Oh.
Positive note.
Silver lining.
They sewed it back on, and he's expected to be okay.
How did it happen?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
He said he never felt like an extreme pain. They were grappling, and that's what he thought. They were kind of up against the fence, so I don't know if it got lodged in the fence.
Yeah.
Because Jamal got a bad cut on the bottom of his foot.
I remember that. Yeah.
One of his first fights, he got.
That took him a minute to heal from
Yeah, he says that fence is pretty sharp, surprisingly.
Oh yeah, I would have. Yeah. Wouldn't
But
guessed that.
yeah, I was like, what? I was like, that's somewhat grappling related. So I was like, I got at least something to contribute.
Something
to
to contribute. That's right.
party
Just
here.
Make everybody throw up.
Yeah, right early in the morning for good Easter here.
I had a guy rip his finger off at work the other day. We got centerless grinders, so you got two grinding wheels that rotate towards each other with a part. And he went to, I don't know how or what he was thinking. I don't understand. But his finger got caught in it. He just kind of felt a pinching sensation, and he ground his finger, half gone, just gone. But yeah, he goes, never felt it. I felt nothing. He goes, I looked down. I'm like, why is there a puddle of blood following me? And he had no idea it was his finger because he didn't feel,
Like cauterized it and everything at once.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm like, well, it started hurting later, right? He's like, never hurt ever. So they did all the reconstructive surgery, and it actually looks kind of like a finger now. Unless you like stare at it, you don't know.
Well, that's crazy.
Oh, man. I kind of did something similar when I punched a grinding wheel on accident.
That'll do it.
Yeah, just took my whole knuckle right off.
I have a lot of scars from
Oh yeah, you do the welding stuff, and yeah. You're a bit of a machinist or
fun.
something.
Yeah,
Good times.
you start dazing off thinking about things and just.
Is it the worst when you like screw up your hands at jiu-jitsu and then you're trying to work the next day and you got to work with your hands?
Yes.
So it's like, what am I going to do now?
Especially like recently, I've been having issues with like gripping things. My hands start to like kind of lock up my joints a little bit. It's like I like to hold on to collars and stuff.
Yeah, you do the spider guard a lot to get into that. Yeah,
I'm starting to mess around with that a little bit just because I have the long legs and stuff. So
no, I actually enjoy spider guard. I'm just not. I know like 3 things.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I just kind of do those 3 things that don't work. I go back to Old Faithfuls, you know.
I guess that's side control the Chimera for me again.
It'd be great if we had a sponsor with something you put on your fingers, and it was readily available on Amazon, but they haven't restocked it yet.
Well, you know,
I'm talking about Groove Life right there.
I was talking about tap tape.
Tap tape. Oh yeah,
it's got those.
The tape for your fingers.
Tap tape is the best tape by far. It's just you can't find it on Amazon. So
I had someone reach out to me because they know I'm helping with the show, and they're like, "Hey, is tap tape back yet?" I was like, "I don't think so.
No,
I haven't seen it."
Yeah, I want it to be. It's good. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
So
I used to tape my fingers, and then I kind of gave up on it.
You know, I kind of did too because I ran out of tap tape, and I don't. You know, once you're sponsored by tap tape, it's like, I'm never going to buy it again.
I know, because you try using the other stuff, and it's not the same.
So when you're typically, when I was a white belt, my death grips were everything, and it was so bad that I would tear the skin off my knuckles. Mm-hmm. Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the worst. So yeah, for years I just kind of got, I think, used to taping them up, and then as you get better, you're going, I guess I don't need to have a death grip. I just need to have all grip. And if he's going to strip it off, it's like there's no point of like I'm gonna fight.
Yeah,
just get a different.
Just
grip.
let it go. Just let it go. Move on.
It's gonna be okay.
And that's a pro tip for all you people holding lapels for too long. Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Move on.
You ever have a fingernail like pop up trying to hang on to?
I like when they fold over on themselves.
That's
that's
the worst.
It's a good pleasure for me. I like to. Just joking. That hurts
a lot. Yeah, that happened to me. I had a fingernail just kind of like separate because I tried to hang on to a grip and just like I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Well, eventually, you start to learn. It's like just let it go.
I will say, as much as I hate no-gi, that's the nice thing about no-gi. Like there's nothing to really grip. So I think your fingers are gonna last a little bit longer.
It does. It helps a lot with that.
So maybe you should just come to Nogi more often and quit bitching about your fingers.
More often, you mean at all?
Yeah, period.
Maybe once.
Good reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are 547 because we got another subscriber within the past day, apparently.
Hey, nice.
So 547 more subscribers, and Paul's doing Nogi, damn it. And we will film it.
Excellent. That'll be a shit show right there.
I'll watch on TV. Probably won't show up.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Because you're smarter than us.
Come in, bring some whiskey. Just like, all right, I'm going to say, you gonna do the.
I'm just gonna watch today.
No. Matter of fact, when do you guys start to roll? When do you do that here?
Yeah. No,
So-
I've done no-gi a few times. It's not bad. It's not the best, but
When I started jiu-jitsu, I was working with a guy that did jiu-jitsu, and he was a good acquaintance. So he taught me to it because he knew I was a black belt in karate, and I like that kind of stuff. So he quit going. He didn't get a stripe on his white belt yet, but he'd been going for, I don't know, 6-8 months a year. I don't know how long it was. But he came over to my house and showed me just like basic guard and mount and stuff like that. And it was all no-gi because I didn't have one, obviously. And he kept on pushing, you got to try the gi. You got to try the gi. It's way more fun because he like us. I like that aspect better. There's more things to do. It's more nuanced. You know what I mean? Just, he liked it more. And I fought it. I'm like, no. So when I finally joined jiu-jitsu, I wanted to get ranked up. So, of course, you got to do the gi.
Right.
And as soon as I got into that, I'm like, oh, this is way more fun. Like just so much more to do. I just liked it.
I'm such a bottom player, so the gi helps because I can hold people to me. But once you lose the gi and stuff, you don't have no handles or nothing.
Yeah.
They're just doing whatever you want on top of you. It's just like, oh, cool. I got this slippery snake on top of me.
Yep.
What am I supposed to do with my hands?
So do you think that strength and speed and athleticism make a lot more difference in no-gi?
In no-gi, yes. Yeah. Especially it depends on which position you're in. If you're top, you can, as long as you kind of have some idea of your body awareness, you can move around pretty freely.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think. But
yeah, you can always tell the guys that were wrestlers. You're like, oh, damn it, this is not going to be fun.
But the best part is I like to just at that point pull both shoulders on the floor and be like, all right, you pinned me. Now what are we gonna do? and they just kind of look at you like,
Yeah, they don't know how to submit you.
again, try something.
Yeah, if you got a good dead guard and just a couple of frames, it's like that's all I need. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well, Ben's joints are like non-existent. I swear he's Gumby.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons you make me you're my favorite role is because I don't understand how you can do what you do, and it's just like when I have you in side control and I have a pretty high position, I'm like, I got good control. Then your leg just kind of comes and scrapes me.
That's my favorite. That's my go-to. Yeah.
Like, why though?
It's just like lasso people. So you're get away from me, because my arms are so weak. Like once again, those things we were talking about with like holding the lapels and your fingers start hurting.
Yeah.
Well, I get it like through my whole arms. So as I figured, okay, well, I'll just use my hands as like base, and then my legs do all the work basically, and that's been doing pretty well for me so far. So
I think people start getting good at jiu-jitsu when they figure out that they can use their feet as hands a little bit more. It's like you turn this corner, and when you realize that your upper body and lower body aren't necessarily connected, you know what I mean? Like you're not like this. Like you can twist your legs one way and your upper body the other way.
You can twist.
Yeah. Like as soon as you're like, oh, like I can do these things.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, that's when people kind of have that, that little exponential growth curve right there when they like have that aha moment.
It's my main thing is like a lot of people tell frames is like, yeah, it's good to get your hands up, but get your knees and legs and stuff up in there too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like you said, as soon as they start to figure that out, they're more difficult to deal with.
Yeah. As soon as I
damn it, why did I even tell you that?
Right? I think Kurt Orsander says, when you show somebody something, it's like teaching a snake how to bite you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, great. Why did
I should have hung on to that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I figured out like an elbow knee connection, I'm like, that makes a really big difference.
Yeah.
If I can just do this, they're gonna have a lot harder time doing anything else. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
So your backstory, I want to know how you kind of got into jiu-jitsu.
Well, I started in Taekwondo, and I was the only student in the class, and I had one black belt, my teacher or sensei or whatever you call him, and he was kind of a little overweight guy. And then all of a sudden, another guy showed up. He's like, "Hey, I do this, but it was a different. I was Chang Mui Kwan Taekwondo, and he was Duck Mui Kwan. He was, which is, I guess they're pretty damn close." So I was like, I don't even know what any of those are. But I just learned to Chang Mui Kwan so I could tell people what I did.
Yeah.
I was like,
bless you.
Yeah. So then this other guy came in. He was bigger yet. And I was just like, for a fitness thing, I was just like, it seems like there's a lot of big guys in Taekwondo. And I was just like, so we were doing it, and it's not very fun doing a class with two black belts because they're like, Taekwondo, you do all katas and stuff, and you're going up and down the gym and doing this and that. And then he's like, you want to do some sparring? And I was like, with who? Like, you two guys that are way bigger than me, you're just that know what you're doing?
To lambaste me.
Yeah, so we kind of did some stuff, but it was cool because they also did weapons. So you started with a bow staff, so side note, I'm pretty good with a bow staff if any gangs out there want me.
When they take our guns away, I can do the bow staff.
That was a Napoleon Dynamite reference, but they did starts with a bow staff, and then you go into the nunchukos. But he made you learn all of it, so you had to learn all the bow staff before you moved on to the nunchucks. And you had to learn all the nunchucks before you move on to the Ninja Turtles. They had that one with the sai. Yep. Yeah. Then we could learn that, and then he did sword too, which I would have thought would have been pretty sweet. Yeah. But I would have had to learn all them other weapons before we get to the sword, and it's just like, I don't know if I had that much time.
How old were you when you started that? Ish.
18, 19 years old, probably. I was just out of high school.
Gotcha.
The girl I was dating at the time, her dad was a black belt in Taekwondo too, and he's just like, hey, you want to check out some Taekwondo? And I thought it was a good bonding thing.
Want to do karate in the garage with me?
Yeah, bonding thing with
do we just become best friends?
Yeah, the father-in-law, if you will. But then that obviously didn't work, and then I kind of stayed going a little bit. Me and the girl didn't work, so then I kept going still, and then one of my buddies into going, and he was Hank Steffes, shout out. He was a wrestler all through high school, and he's a really good wrestler. And he came, and he's like, "This is stupid."
Oh no!
I was like, how? I thought I didn't know if it was just me or I was like,
how else am I supposed to become a ninja?
Yeah, because then I kind of asked my sensei, I was like, so what about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And he's like, well, they got to get you to the ground first. He's like, well, that's what he's like, I teach you to stand up.
Yeah.
Because then they got to get within to take you down. And I was like, well, just humor. What if they do take you down? And at the time, he rolls back to his back and he puts up frames like this. He goes, get past me. And I just went, you're right. And then I started doing jiu-jitsu and I was like, get right past you. That's not a thing. But I didn't know at the time. And I was just like, oh, it's cool. And then, like I said, my buddy came. He's like, yeah, this is kind of crap. He's like, you ever heard of jiu-jitsu? And I was like, yeah, I've heard murmurs about it. And I kind of asked my sensei about it, but he thought Taekwondo would be a better fit for me. He's like, well, that's what he's going to say. You're paying him. I was like, well, true.
That makes sense.
And so then I went and tried out some jiu-jitsu and loved it. Made it like 6 months, but the place I was at wasn't the best situation or atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was,
they're out there.
Yeah. I walked in and he kind of chilled behind the desk, and another students ran the class basically, and we do kind of like our same situation. We warm up and then go over a little bit of something or another, and then just grapple, lateral. Well, then I was like, I'm not really learning anything, and I went and asked him at the desk. I was like, what should I be doing? What? He's like, just protect yourself. I was like, what does that mean? I was like, just protect yourself.
Don't die, bro.
He's like, yeah, just fight back. And I was like, well, you're not showing us how to fight back. I don't know. These people obviously know something. I don't know anything. So I think I made it 6 months of just, I'm not a very big guy.
Yeah, we were going to get into that. Like you're a tiny little sprite.
Yeah, I'm starting to fill out a little bit more now, getting older and
getting the man bod going.
Beer and so
chips and beer.
I was probably all of 140 pounds at the most, generously. So then you just got these giants just wiping the mat with me, and I was just like, this is not fun. I'm not learning anything. I'm getting hurt. I'm getting beat up every time. Mm-hmm. I'm paying money for this. I was like, the guy doesn't care to come down and show us anything. So I was like, why? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill out with this. My buddy kept going, and then I started working at Weller, and my buddy that we started with jiu-jitsu with, he's like, hey, Chad Pomeroy works there at Weller with you. You should go talk to him. So I kind of asked around. He's like, hey, you know who Chad is? Who's Chad? Chad Pomeroy. Blah, blah. He actually worked in the building right next to mine. So I walked over and I'm walking up to him. This guy's all covered in tattoos. I was like,
he's huge.
Oh yeah. I was like, he's like grabbing transmissions and setting them around tables. I was like, what is this? I was like, hey,
it's all technique, bro.
Yeah. I was like, hey, what's up, man?
See how I leveraged the transmission onto this table from underneath the car?
I heard you do the jiu-jitsu, and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to start something. So I was like, cool, you care if I come check it out? I was like, I tried before, and he's like, you kind of look familiar. And I kind of told him where I was at, and he goes, I think I trained with you. And I was like, you know what? You kind of do look familiar. You might have trained with you too, but you were one of the big guys wiping the mat with me. So
smears you across the It's fine.
So then that's where it started. Me and Chad kind of clicked from there, and we've been through some serious stuff. And for a while there, a lot of times it was just me and Chad, because he's obviously got to start somewhere and grow. So, he rented a place off of 76 and Division, little strip mall there, and we started, and this obviously didn't work out in that location. So then we were in between places, so we actually trained in his garage for a while.
Nice.
And then he got the worst gym I think he had. It was the Division gym. We had to put buckets out for every time it rained.
Fine.
But if it wasn't raining, it was a good place. Yeah. But like I said, you got to start somewhere. And now now we're looking at, he's looking at buying his own facility. So
now we're huge.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was telling these guys before we started that we do the beginner classes, and I filmed something the other day, and we have a long wall and then a short wall, and then it comes back around square, obviously, but the whole long wall is solid people, shoulder to shoulder, and then it makes the right-hand curve, and it goes all the way down the short wall, shoulder to shoulder people, and then a few of us that are kind of avoiding the beginners class just because there's not enough room. So, I would rather let the beginner white belts, learn the trap and rolls and, the basics, and that's what they're there for.
Yep, just kind of stay out of their way a little bit.
That's their class. We kind of walk around and be additional helpers at that point, but I wasn't. I'm gonna have to start stepping away from the beginners class a little bit, just because in the participating factor, just because there's so many people in such a small, and it's not a small spot, but there's just so many people in this area. So, yeah, he's looking at getting a new place and talking about having 2 mats.
Dang.
I guess he's got a cage and a whole bunch of weight equipment already, and
Really?
he's just in a storage room waiting to be
Dang.
used. So
Look at him moving up in the world.
we got the things and we got the stuff. So eventually
Just need the
you know,
space.
you just gotta. Unfortunately, the market around here is ridiculous. So
Around everywhere, man. It's
if you don't got the cash money,
Yep.
so it's just right now. It's just what we got works. It's great location.
Right.
So
yeah, the location is really good.
we're making it work, and once we find something else, we'll be on to bigger and better pastures, hopefully, and continue to keep growing.
Nice.
We were laughing about it too before we started, and all the people coming in. I want to do the UFC. Thanks, Jamal.
You're looking out, Jamal.
Yeah, so then we're like, we just look at him and like, do you really? Because you don't even know what we do here. It's like it's not UFC, it's MMA. But I think it's funny. But yeah, we get some people come in and then they're like, oh, this is actual work.
Right?
I don't know if I want to do this, and then you just see them
It's like
fizzle out.
You can only skip warm-ups once you get to a purple belt. Sorry, guys. Like, you got to put in your dues.
Yeah.
I was listening to Joe Rogan this morning on way to breakfast with my mom, and he had not Chad Gable, Dan Gable.
Dan Gable. Yep.
Yeah, Dan Gable. I think Chad Gable might be his son. He's a wrestler. But anyway, Dan Gable was talking about wrestling and how he trained 7 days a week, no rest days.
That's crazy.
A rest day for him is taking it light. So, he's training, but he's not training to like max himself out. And apparently that's what Danaher and Gordon Ryan and all them do too. They train 7 days a week. And if you need a quote unquote rest, you just take it easy.
To be fair, look at Danaher. That dude can barely walk.
Good point.
Donaher's my spirit animal. How broken he is.
I thought it was funny with that Gordon Ryan and Galval got into it, and then you see Danaher just standing there.
Like, I guess I'll have to kill somebody.
Either one of them touches your knee, you're gonna explode.
Yeah. Just like, please don't do this, guys.
Like, please,
I'm begging you.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I will.
He starts opening his fanny pack. Like, all right, we're good.
We know you don't have weapons in there, but calm down.
Right. Just gotta threaten, make them think. Make them think.
7 days a week.
Faraz Sahabi was on the Joe Rogan show, and the first half of the show was fantastic, and then it went into the weeds, and I hated it. But he talked about the way the Russians train, and the reason why usually it's a Russian that podiums in the Olympics is because of their training mentality. So in America, it's all bigger, faster, stronger, more is better. Always more is better. So the 7 days a week, but usually the American version of that is you kill yourself every day. It's always to the death. In Russia, they don't do that.
They fight with bears.
They fight with bears instead. So it's literally to the death. We just think it is. Yeah. They actually fight until somebody dies.
Yeah.
And it's usually a bear cub.
Unfortunately.
Poor bear cubs.
PETA, please don't shut us down.
Right. It's
We
Russia.
don't do it. We don't do
It's
it.
Russia. They don't care.
It's all jokes. Yeah. But yeah, they have their hard training days, but a lot of it is what the Danaher Death Squad does now is we'll train all the time, but we're going to really ramp down that effort level so that you can recover and heal and learn. Right. And in Russia, like they do a lot more drills and a lot, you know what I mean, a lot more flowing. So
steroids.
That you can, don't act like we don't do that here.
That's true.
Right.
Paul wants to.
I would take it in a minute.
I'll do some stem cells with you. I mean,
oh heck yeah! Just shoot me up full of whatever makes my knees feel better. I don't care what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But talking about the Russians too, like did you see Khabib? He's like 29-0 fighting, but now he's 4-0 in coaching. Like that's why he quit, is to take over his quit doing MMA himself. And
4-0 or 0-4?
4-0.
Oh, wow.
4-0. He's undefeated as a coach too.
Dang.
One of his brothers or cousins or someone fought in Bellator on Friday. Same card as Neiman.
He did good.
And
Neiman got robbed.
I heard Neiman
got robbed.
I saw Croyler's post and I was like, all right, well, Croyler thinks so. And then I Googled it and I was like, oh, he did.
Yeah,
like, it's not just Croyler.
Neiman won every aspect. Like they even showed the stats right before they did the judging. Neiman just percentage of like mat time, owning, like dominating mat time. He had, punches, he had kicks, he had submission attempts, he had everything.
This is the second time he's got robbed as well. It's not
think,
even the first, because one you could maybe make an argument, but not really.
Yeah.
It's just like, now he got robbed twice.
Poor guy.
It's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
He's a
right.
fantastic fighter.
I mean,
And a great guy, too. He's not like, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, he's not an asshole. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't talk, and you
Yeah.
know, he just.
If you're going to rob people, rob assholes.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, the people that talk make the money. I mean, look at Connor, obviously. I mean,
Yeah, that's such a catch-22 for me, because on one hand they're great for the sport because they bring more people in, and you know, I like a show, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it doesn't. On one hand, it doesn't bother me, and I enjoy the show. On the other hand, it's like the old school martial arts in me is like,
Right.
nah, that's not how we act, man. Like, this is supposed to be, you know, a little bit of respect and honor going on, and
Yeah.
that ain't it. So I'm of two minds. On
Yeah.
shit talking.
I'm with you. I like it. It's fun. It builds a fight. You know, it builds the animosity, and you want to watch it. You know, like, I hope he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Although when he does, he's very graceful about it. You know, he's like, "Hey, man, you beat me. Good job. Appreciate it." You know,
Yep.
it's all. I was just selling the fight. You know, he
Yeah.
was doing that with Khabib, and Khabib was having none of it.
But yeah, who loses better than Connor? Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody
I
does.
mean, it is what it is. Let's move on to the next
But yeah,
one.
nobody sells better than him
Yep.
either. So
and
like,
they'll
he's,
start it back up again. Here, 'cause he's
Exactly.
fighting Dustin again.
it's kind of fun watching two people fight each other that hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, they want, you know, that's a fight. But then you get people like Anderson Silva and he just lost the title. Hold on.
Stipe?
Nope.
And there's wrong
No,
weight class.
185.
Piryan?
No.
Wait, what weight did you say?
Really,
185.
really fun to watch fight.
Adesanya?
Yes.
Well, he didn't lose the title. He just lost the heavyweight.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Light heavyweight, sorry.
Yeah, my bad. I misspoke.
That was
But-
Jamal's next opponent, essentially. I mean, come on.
Right. So there's too much respect in that fight.
Yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
incredible athletes, but they're like, yeah, it was just too much respect. I'm like, they didn't hate each other, they respect each other, and it was a good fight. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I'm like, if there was some, you know, like, I'll show you, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I think some people's competitive side comes out with like, oh, I'm going to show you after you talk all kinds of shit. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just makes for a better fight
Yeah,
sometimes. I might be,
agree.
you know, I might be wrong. I'm not going to die on this hill, but I just kind of think that way.
I like it. I mean, like you said, this is the way he gracefully loses. There's only saving grace,
Yeah.
I guess. But I like it. Yeah, I like the crap talking
Yeah,
too. It's fun.
absolutely.
Well, I think Jamal's got some crap talking.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. Paul Craig basically said he faked COVID, so
Yeah.
Jamal's not pleased.
Which I don't understand
Yeah,
because
that's just a weird.
the UFC told Jamal he couldn't fight. Jamal would have fought.
Right.
He was cleared 3 days before the fight, and he planned on fighting. The UFC said no, not enough time. We're not letting you fight.
Right.
So Jamal had no say on what happened. It was,
Right.
you know,
Eh, you're scared.
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to Dana.
he just works there, bro.
So what do you think about this? Like, some people, you ever watch like the Contender Series or whatever with Dana White and
Yeah.
or what was that? The first show. It's coming
Ultimate
up.
Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I pressed the sound button. It's happened several times. I've done
Nice.
it.
So if somebody, for whatever reason, didn't want to take a fight, a little bit injured, something like, but they're trying to earn a career, like the biggest career of their lifetime. This is their one shot. They don't want to screw it up. And then Dana White would be like, dude, fight. You're a fighter. Go fight.
Yeah.
On one hand, yeah, I agree. On the other hand, like, if, you know, people like Jamal, like, I just got through COVID, but I'm cleared. I can fight now. Well, your training camp was screwed up. Your weight cut was probably screwed up. Like, nothing went right. So to
Yep.
take that fight, I think would probably be a mistake.
It
Like,
would've.
just push it out.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, no, if you can fight, you can fight it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what we do here. So
right.
I'm like, I just think that's kind of like a wrong mentality to have personally. But
Right.
again, another hill I don't want to die on either. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it wasn't Jamal's choice.
Yeah, he had no
Yeah.
say in it. I mean, he would have. I mean, like you said, it would have been a bad idea, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, because, 2 weeks there, he couldn't train. You know, the most important 2 weeks.
Yeah, I want to see fighters at 100. Nobody's at 100%, right? But not like right off COVID, couldn't have a training camp.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
that's
wanna see
0
that.
training camp, yeah.
Puking up blood, can't breathe,
Well,
whatever.
then the guy that wins, like, you always have that asterisk of, dude, you just had COVID. You know what I mean? So, you know, even when you don't have it, the side effects can linger depending on how you react to it. So.
Well, he was puking up blood, so I mean,
Dude.
it might. Because I just had it too. I just had my side effects or symptoms were just a headache, and I just felt icky. And I was tired for like 4 days, and then after that I was fine. But he was puking up blood and.
Yeah, that's the weirdest
not
thing about this
doing
disease.
good.
Yeah, you got. So I got a buddy that spent 8 days in the hospital, and he's our age, healthy, young, young. But yeah, he was messed up. His wife, same age, got the sniffles, a little bit of the headache, nothing. You know, my brother had gotten it, and he, you know, no problems. Yeah, his wife couldn't make it from one side of the house to the other without sitting down. I mean, it was just terrible. So it's a weird sickness.
It's weird, yeah. Because but my boss had the same thing. His wife got it, and she was horrible. Which they're in the age bracket where it's you gotta be careful. And he, I mean, lives with her, obviously, sleeps in the same bed, and he never tested positive at all. So it's just like, it's so weird. Who gets affected and who doesn't? You know, it's
Kip and Jen, same thing. Jen had it, Kip never got it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, what?
It is weird. So yeah, all right. What do we got for questions?
I was gonna say, no more COVID
we got to
talk.
get in some
We
questions.
haven't talked about topics at all. So Paul sent me this. It's about the mental aspect of BJJ and struggling mentally. And I know actually Sam from the UK is on, and he's talking about how he's going to finally get back to training on Monday, even though it's not officially allowed. Whoops. Probably wasn't supposed to read that part. Sam, don't get in trouble.
We never said where he's from.
Nobody in the UK watched this except Sam.
No,
Sorry,
right.
Sam.
Big place over in the UK.
Whoops. But anyway, he's a blue belt, and he's trying to get back into training. And he joked like typical blue belt quitting.
Yeah, blue
he didn't
belt
have a
blues.
choice, obviously. Yeah, the blue belt blues. That's hard to say. And you sent me a post about a guy in BJJ Everything, and he said every class feels like a chore. And I'm sure we've all had that to some aspect. How do you get over that? I'm probably in that right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, man, I work at home and I got to get off my fat ass and go to jiu-jitsu. It's different because when I worked in Holland, I would just go straight from Holland to class, and it's like it's on the way. Where else am I gonna go? Now it's like I gotta leave home. I gotta leave my Xbox. I gotta
I'm on
leave
the
my
couch
PlayStation.
having a beer.
Yeah,
right.
It's
while
so,
I'm working.
It's so easy to get out. It's so hard to get back in.
Yeah.
I can kind of speak towards it a little bit. I've not always had, because I teach the kids class too. So before I get to train, I got to teach 2 hours, two 45-minute classes of
Might as well be
kids.
2 hours. It's kids.
It's-
Might as well be
and-
10 hours.
Yeah, and like the adult classes, the kid classes are getting big because people that do the adult classes
Have
bring their
kids,
kids in. So before I get to even train, I got to teach these people, these little fellaters, which is nice because once I see them start to learn some stuff and start doing some of the things that I show them, it's just like, that's awesome. That's so
Heck
cool.
yeah.
I showed them that, and you can do it.
I made that.
But I keep saying him. Most of the times it's girls. I showed her that. We have a lot of girls, which is great.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
That's the way it should
fantastic.
be.
Yeah. And which is funny because the girls beat the snot out of the kids.
Isn't
boys.
it fun?
It's so fun because
The
they
boys
hate it.
hate it.
They start crying and it's funny. But yeah, just recently I was kind of plateauing because I go to the kids classes and then I finally get to my advanced class because we got beginners class first. And like I said, we're so full that sometimes I don't participate in that.
Right.
I just go help people that are learning the moves, which I should know the moves.
So then you're coaching another
So
hour
I'm
on top of
coaching
what you already
that
did,
to help coach that, and then get to my advanced class where I can start learning some moves. And the move we were working on is a Kimura. And I was like, I can Kimuras. Come on, I know Kimuras.
I've been doing these for a while.
Yeah, which is cool because if we learn a move on Tuesday, we have classes Tuesday and Thursday are gi classes. So the move we learn on Tuesday, we're going to do it again Thursday, just so we get the repetition. And then the next week, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do those quick 2-3 moves, and we're going to build on from that.
Right.
And I was just like, you know what? We've been doing this now for a month. So I was just like, you know what? I know exactly what we're going to do. And then the other day, Chad was like, our instructor, it's like, I got Croyler, which is our black belt, in this Kimura over the top where, you get the Kimura and then your body's on top of their head and then you're waiting for them to sit up so that you can take their bag or, there's a few different variations.
Yep.
And he goes, and then Croyler slid to his back and pulled his elbow down and got out of it. And my brain exploded. I was
You
like,
can do that?
what? I was like, it wasn't even the move that he was showing. It was something probably only a few select people actually picked up on, but because as you get going, you like I said, I knew the Kimura, I knew what we were gonna do, but that little thing that he had done to him, I was just like, because I've been getting stuck in that Kimura, and it's a very effective move.
Yeah.
It's just I just didn't know how to get out of it, and then he showed me that, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I want to do jiu-jitsu again now. Can we stretch this another hour?
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like you'll have that. Yeah. plateauy, been there, done that feeling, and then those one little nuances that it wasn't even necessarily part of the class.
Right.
Just an offhanded comment. You're like, oh,
and that's why you always pay attention. Always pay attention, because you might, something might slip in the background that you're not even. Oh, cool.
Yep. So, do you think you have less of those moments the longer you train? Like, there's a lot of aha moments as white and blue belt, but as you're kind of deeper into your purple. And they have to teach to the majority, which is beginners, right? So you're not getting as much of the attention that you need. You know what I mean? So how do you kind of overcome that? So that's why we'll plateau. You get the blue belt blues, which we understand, but then you got whatever it is for the purple belts.
Yep.
Because I think Jesse said it good. Like the deeper the waters go, the less help you have.
Right.
Like then. Like Austin can just come to one of us and be like, "Hey, I want to learn this or that, or help me with this," and we're like, "Yeah, we got you."
Yeah.
Who do you go to? Like, you have so few people that are still working on their own thing too. So, like, what do you do for that?
I have Chad, Jesse,
and Croyler.
I got three minds to tap, and Justin.
If you ever go to Nogi, right?
Yeah. If I don't, well, he'll come to Gee sometimes too, and then that's just like a whole nother thing, because his style I rarely get to deal with, because he's a no-gi guy, the coach there. So when he comes into gi class, it's just like, ooh, I want to test on somebody that doesn't necessarily train with us every day, but he always beats me up because he's 2-3 of me. And
all the same knowledge with twice the weight. It's fantastic.
But no, what was your question again? How to get over that?
What do you do when there's fewer people to go to, and you're more on par with the people that you're going to for help,
right?
And then you got Chad, who's the coach, but he's trying to run an entire school, so
right. So and he's got to, he said you got to help the beginners, because which is nice, because we started separating now our beginners from advanced. So you have to have a blue belt or above to go in our advanced class, which is nice, because usually we'd have to do like, all right, get in side control, and then 2 or 3 people are kind of looking around and they're like, What's that? Sorry, I'm not supposed to whisper. Like, what's side control? And I was like, oh. And you just see everyone's eyes roll. So the next 5 minutes, Chad's got to go over to somebody. Unless somebody is right there and will help him right away. It's going to take 5 minutes for Chad to get over there and get him down in the position, and then work from there. And then once again, he's got to help them the whole time, because they're learning stuff that you maybe not should be learning right away. But I don't know. You just stick in there, And then you just wait for them days that you get a gem, and then it's just like, ooh, I got a new toy. Yeah. So you just you keep playing with it, and eventually, like, again, you'll find a new toy. And it's, do the seminars. That's where you're gonna catch those little
private lessons. That's kind of where I started getting my aha moments. Like, if I do a private lesson, there's so much information in seminars and private lessons. I'm like, okay, this can be my new thing.
Yep.
And then you can kind of go down the rabbit hole and really play with that on your own. That might not necessarily be the same thing everybody's learning that you've already learned.
Yep. So. And the nice thing about our gym too is we do the testing, which is a curse and a blessing all in disguise in one. Because one, it's the curse is you got to do an hour and a half of warm ups, and then you got to run through. For brown belt now, there's probably 8 pages of stuff that you have to know and memorize and have.
I think just for purple belt, there's over like 200 or 250 moves.
It was a lot. It was,
and then you double it for
scary.
brown.
Yeah, it was intense. But then on the pro side is you have to go through all this stuff. You have to know 3 positions from side, escapes and submissions, which is another way you can get the aha moments, because you might have 1 or 2 go-tos from each position, but then you need to know 3. So then you gotta do some research. You gotta go find that third one. And now for the brown, you have to add 3 more on top of that. So I gotta know 6 from each position, which is fun, because you gotta find these. When I first did it, because I was already a blue belt before we. I got my blue belt from Croyler, but I think it was like his first seminar. And I heard him tell Chad, he's like, I don't do this, but he's like, you're asking me to, and he's been here for a long time, so I'll do it, but I don't do things like this. It's like the first time we ever met him,
So after that, it's like a hard stop. We're doing the testing.
Yeah, from now on, if you want to rank up, you need to do my curriculum, my course, and we're like, oh, no, that's cool. And so, my first test was from blue to purple, which is I had to know all
Same,
the,
bro.
you were in the same boat, yeah. So you
I
had to
came
know,
in as a blue belt already.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to learn all that and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's
it's
not
like,
overwhelming at all.
white to blue is intense, and then I got started adding on positions and escapes, and white to blue is pretty easy. I mean, now that I know what it is, now that
It's intimidating at first, and then you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as you think.
which is nice, which I wish I could have done, because then you just constantly add on little chunks instead of a giant chunk and then littler pieces. But it's still, because you had to prepare for that giant chunk, you think everyone's gonna be like that. But
Yeah, the nice thing is if you start as a white belt, then you have your entire white belt career to do the blue belt thing, like easy. But if you start as a blue belt and then you got to like backtrack and learn all the white belt stuff, plus that takes a while, man. Especially depending on family and work and whatever time restraints and kids. A lot of things get in the way, and then you're trying to learn basically 2 curriculums at once.
And you can't do it during doing class time too, because you're learning what the class is.
Yep.
So you have to figure all this stuff out on your own time, which is, thank God Jesse started doing the Sunday classes. Otherwise, you'd have to.
Without Jesse, I wouldn't be
pay for a private, or you got to
Well, and there's so many people that it's already a stretch to pay for class. Like jiu-jitsu isn't cheap.
No,
I don't think it should be, but it's not. And
right.
I mean, look at inflation. Prices are going up. Like everything's costing more, and I'm like, I'm not getting raises. I'm not sure about you, and if I am, they're not keeping up with the price of groceries.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So then to go, all right, now I got to do private lessons on top of my class, and then find the time to do that. Like it can be a real struggle. And I think that might be a reason a lot of people go, I just can't do it anymore and quit. So
aren't you rich? Didn't you make it big with Bitcoin?
That's what I heard.
I haven't looked at Bitcoin in so many months.
Yeah, that's because you sold all yours.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
I made $1,000 and I'm like, I'm out. I don't trust it.
You want to know how much I made?
I don't. It's going to make me mad.
It'll make you sick. But the point is people are too impatient, I think.
Yeah.
They're impatient on wanting to get to that next level, and they're too competitive, right? They want to win in a role, and they want to win at getting stripes, and they want to win at getting belts, and they want to be able to say, I'm a purple belt, brown belt, black belt, and that's their goals, that's their focus, rather than just being curious. So as soon as I went from a competitive winning mindset to a curious mindset, it made it more fun.
Made it a little bit easier to go every day. And another thing too is I think a lot of people come from the other martial arts aspect, like every other, like Taekwondo and that stuff. I mean, you can be a black belt 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I mean, at whatever age, like.
I got mine at 11, bro.
Yeah, that's what my aunt called me out one day. We were at a family thing, and she's like, "Oh, how's because I post on Facebook, and she's like, I see you're doing the jiu-jitsu." I was like, "Yeah, I'm a blue belt at the time," and she's like, "Oh, what belt is that?" I was like, "It's the second one." She's like, "How long you been doing it?" I was like, like 6 years." She goes, "Huh. Your cousin, which is 12, is a black belt in karate." I go, "I will beat the."
This is like, we can fight right now.
I was like $20. Like,
watch his grandma.
Yeah, right. I was just like, yeah, he probably is, but I mean, don't bank on that,
Yeah. But that's the mindset coming in from other martial arts too, just like you said. And people, they want instant gratification, and that's not what you're going to get.
No, especially in this, because we were talking before we got here, before we clicked it on, about people forget about their legs. A lot of times they're just fighting with their arms, and then all of a sudden you start moving your legs around. You're like, oh, I have 2 more arms basically, and which if you don't know, your legs are a lot stronger than your arms, so that makes it a lot funner.
How much you leg press, bro?
I don't,
What's that? Just look at me.
What's a leg press, bro?
Huh?
Putting up 10 plates, bro?
Just play.
He's just
At a buffet. I don't eat that much.
The Olive Garden?
Yeah,
that's great.
Olive Garden. Yeah.
We've actually got 2 people watching who have said they've got COVID reasons for not going to jiu-jitsu, and they're both blue belts, and now they're about to come back after a full year. How in the hell do you get back into jiu-jitsu after a year of not doing it?
Easy.
You just got to go back.
Well, I mean, I know you just go back, but like, man, 3 months or whatever we took off because of COVID.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. After coming back from that 3 months, it's hard.
It sucked.
That first week, yeah.
You lose all your cardio and you don't realize it. And it's something that happened to me that I was kind of weird about is we were grappling. I was out in bottom position, and there was somebody on top. I think it was Jamal, just a big body, and I got like a panic attack. It was weird. Like if you've been doing this for long enough, I know how to.
Yeah, you're just
I'm the best getting that smashed ever. It's like, I'm so good at getting beat up. It's
right.
ridiculous.
I do it with grace and style.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really care to win or lose, but I was on bottom and he was just on top, and I was just like, dude, you got to get off me. You got to get off me. And then he won. He just kept moving around doing stuff, and which
I never spaz. I'm a blue belt. I know
I've
shit.
graduated from spazzdom.
I still spaz.
If only that were true, that blue belts didn't spaz anymore. I wish that was a thing.
Yeah. Another question. You talked about promotions, so this will actually play into that. This guy typed a full paragraph, as you can see. I can sum it up in a few sentences.
Do it.
This guy's been doing BJJ for 10 months. He goes to classes 3 to 5 days a week. He doesn't go on weekends because he can't. Who knows why? Who cares? So stripes and promotions are handed out on weekends though at his gym. Oh. So he hasn't been striped up in 10 months, which you got to expect. You probably deserve a stripe after 10 months, maybe. So
maybe.
Yeah. How does he handle it? Like,
just don't worry about it.
Yeah, that would be my inclination. Yeah. But for our gym, it would make sense because Chad's going to tell you, hey, you've been here for 10 months, go test or whatever.
He can't, if he's working on the weekends and he's like, hey, I have a job. I got to pay you to come to the gym.
Right.
So if I don't work, I can't pay you. So then I can't have jiu-jitsu. It'd be like, hey, I know Saturdays are the days that we test or, get striped up. Is there any way or how, with me working, how would that go about? Just kind of bring it up to your, not in front of everybody. I wouldn't say that, but maybe pull off whoever coach is, and the coaches they're gonna work with you if you're in the right gym.
Right.
They're gonna work with you. They're gonna understand because if a lot of times coaches have jobs too. Ours is lucky enough that he can do the gym as his only source of income. A lot of other schools, sometimes they can't do that. Right. So they're working themselves to trying to do the extra gym time. They might just not even realize that, and if they do work, they'd be like, oh yeah, I work too. That's why I do it on the weekends because I want to, they might not work Saturday. So, just let them, just let them know the situation. And a lot of, people aren't all assholes in this world.
I try to be respectful of the people that care about the promotion to stripes and its goals.
Right.
But I just have a hard time because it doesn't matter.
I don't. Yeah.
Just keep on going, and eventually you'll be. I think there's a book called Be So Good They Can't Ignore You. Mm-hmm. Just do that. Like, be so good at being a no stripe white belt that you're like, that's stupid. Like, people are gonna start making comments like, he's not a 0 stripe white belt. Right. He's wiping the floor with blue belts. Like, just be that guy. Yeah. Like, if you're so good they can't ignore you, eventually you'll just start to get the stripes. So
I think this guy's in a rather large gym because near the middle of it, he goes, at what point is a gym too big? And I'd be like, probably where you're at.
So there's going to be growing pains, right? Because, I'll use Chad as an example. When you started, and even when I started, torn, were like the ACL or the MCL, and what is putting pressure on, and then how long that takes to heal, and what the surgery is like. So that's kind of the difference between why one is worse than the other.
I don't want to. So there's competition in Kalamazoo next weekend. Is that right? Anyway, everyone's trying to get me to compete. And I'm like, I don't want to.
I heard you're competing.
No, thanks.
There was a big old thing at class the other day.
See, the problem is I coach tennis, and that middle school program starts the next Monday. It's like if some idiot just decides to heel hook the crap out of me and I can't walk, there goes that.
So,
I mean, I guess I can coach in a chair. Who cares?
I don't think they can heel hook in your...
I thought you could at Blue Belt.
I think in Nogi you can do whatever you want, right?
Well, in Nogi, the guy's like, what did he do? Did he straight ankle me?
Was it Grappling Industries?
No, this was Fuji.
It's Fuji?
And I swear he did like a heel hook. And I was like, I kind of paused because like, I don't think he can do this. And then he just kept going. I was like, all right, you win.
What do you mean you can't knee bar?
I can't knee bar? I drove an hour and a half. I'm going to knee bar. Yeah, with my knees, like if you look at them funny, they tear. So, but I like learning heel hooks, and I find that fascinating. So I'm in. But if somebody gets the position, I'm done.
Right.
I can't fight out of the position. So
Right.
just that's how you keep yourself safe. Like if somebody gets a position, it's kind of like, I'll equate it to an arm bar. Somebody's arm barring you and you have the gable grip or whatever you're gripping onto, and you're just, and you're making, and you're making him do it, and he's, or her, and he's just reefing on it, and it's kind of a battle of attrition.
Already too late. So I got to beat them to shutting it down, which builds your fluidity, if that's a word.
Yes, it is.
It is a word. Good word.
So, I just constantly, like I said, keep showing up and keep, do the best you can every day, and it is what it is.
Yep.
And
Did it take a while to get that
Yes.
out of your head, though?
because I would hold the collars and I would wrap my feet around them so tight. I just like anti-jiu-jitsu, and just hold so tight. Then I was just figured out, maybe if I just started figuring out with my feet, I can use them like another set of hands. I can flip my ankle over and I can cut people's legs and move it over to the side. Well, then, okay, I can move the leg over to the side, and then, okay, what can I do from there? Get off the side, and come out the back door, and all of a sudden I'm on top. It's like, oh, cool. Yeah. And then you spin around their back, and you'll do some other killer, inside palm grip, whatever, and you bring it behind their back, and that's
funsies. It's kind of like finding the tribe inside the tribe. Like if I know that if I roll with you, it's going to be dynamic, it's going to be fun, I'm going to learn something, I'm not going to get hurt. There's a really high level of trust there.
Yeah.
But if I roll with Austin, there's a little savage over here.
We don't know.
We don't know what's going to.
Robert actually said that he was getting me in a brava. How do you say that word?
Brata plata.
Thank you. I always want to add a V in there, and there's no V. Brata plata.
What is that?
You don't know what that?
Japanese words. And
I was
like,
okay, Danaher.
what is it?
We get so impatient. I want to learn everything now, and even if you do like you said, say we sit them down for 5 hours and we just start talking jujitsu, they're not going to remember any part of that conversation.
Absolutely none of it.
Nothing. Like I have to teach you like one thing or maybe two, and practice it and go over it and go over. You know what I mean?
Repetition.
Yeah, exactly. Like
like this. When Croyler comes up for his seminars, he starts off with the most basics of the basics, and then each one gets substantially little more, until he loses everybody except for the brown and black belts that are still participating in the seminar. And at that point, I would suggest sticking with the ones once you started to get to the fourth or fifth move, and you're like, I don't even know how to set that up.
Yep.
Don't even worry about it. Those ones are not for you.
Yeah.
The other
get their black belt in 4 or 6 years. They're going to win all the tournaments. They're just like, it's easy for them.
What's happening here? So I slap bump fist, and all of a sudden he grabbed a hold of me, and something's happening. I got to beat him to it. But he was always one step above me. Going. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I kind of like whatever. I thought it was going to be easy match, and I was like, I'm gonna get gold in this one. I was like, all of a sudden he started owning me, and I was just like, oh crap. Got on top, mount, he pulled the arm bar, and I was just like, what? Holy crap. So I jump up quick, and we do the raise of hands, and we pull off to the side. And I knew I had another guy. We had another guy in our bracket. So right away I ran up to that kid again. I go, hey, I think it's one and done, but if they're gonna let me, we only have 3 people, so they're gonna have to do a round robin. I was like, if I beat this next guy, you probably don't have to fight me again, but will you? I was like, I told him to his face, I was like, I didn't think you were going to be this good, but you're good. And I was like, I want to give you the respect you deserve, and I want to do this right. He's like, if they'll let me, whatever, I don't care. Because then that's when he told me, he's like, I'm getting ready for a bigger tournament. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, okay. And he's like, this doesn't mean nothing to me. He's like, all right, whatever. So then I go against this white belt. I'm spinning. I can tell he has no stripes. He had no idea what he's doing. So I grabbed his sleeve, grabbed his lapel, spun underneath him, threw him over my shoulder, and then pulled his arm like a lawnmower and grabbed that arm bar. Like, I got you. I ran back up to that kid. I go, can we do it?
Can I do it again?
Yeah. I didn't even get my hand raised or anything. I was just like, I want this guy. So then, our third fight we got, and I held my own a little bit better, but still, he was just better than me. There's going to be people that are better than you. And
I too got my butt kicked by a 15-year-old once. It's like that shouldn't be a thing, but here we are.
There's levels, man. There's levels, like you said. There's abilities, levels. How much people put into this, and then coming to find out, this kid, this is all he does. He's homeschooled, and then during part of his homeschool is jiu-jitsu. So he goes to all the classes, every class that his gym is open, he's at. And then in between time, they travel to all the tournaments, and his mom teaches them school. Like I seen him sitting off to the side doing schoolwork. I was just like, I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And this kid is still pounding me. I was just like, what? And then coming to find out the next week, he went to Worlds and won because he got promoted to blue belt on the podium.
That'll make you feel a little better about
Yeah,
yourself.
and
You're
then
like,
he-
you know what? We're good.
He went to Worlds and won in the blue belt division in
Nice.
our weight
Good for
class.
him.
So it was just like, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
still want to do it again.
yeah, I want to fight him one more time.
Yeah, it's just one of those things like you said, like me and you roll, it's a good roll. It's just, they're fun,
Yeah.
He didn't hurt me, I didn't hurt him, it's just a good, fun roll.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I learned a few things that I'm not as good as I thought it was, it's just, don't underestimate people.
Yeah, when you find that fascinating and fun, it makes the whole trip better.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm looking forward to going to class because it's interesting.
Kind of rejuvenates you. That's
Yeah.
another thing I like about tournaments too, is because in classes you roll against the same people that are learning the exact same moves you're learning, the exact same defenses you're moving. So if you do any of the moves you're learning in class, the people you're rolling with know it. They're gonna shut you down. Where if you go to a tournament or if you go to another open mat, like at a different gym, some gyms around here they're willing to let other people come to it, which is really cool. I like the
Camaraderie.
that word.
I got you, bro.
With other gyms that we got going on in our area, which is really cool. We had a couple of events that they all showed up at, and it's been really cool.
Yeah.
And then, those are the situations where you go and you learn the most, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's like when we have our team training.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite days. It's
Yeah.
like you get a whole new group of people that are
Exactly.
on the same path, but you're learning different stuff
We're
at different
learning,
rates.
we're
and-
learning the same thing, but it's at different times.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
that, what we learned this week
Yep.
isn't what they're learning this week. So you can kind of mess with the stuff that's fresh in your head, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a lot of fun. It's another thing. If you haven't done a tournament, I suggest try it. I mean,
No.
You're not
Yeah,
gonna
Paul,
do
try it.
You're not going to do it, but they're fun.
I'll do a tournament when you fight in a cage. How about that?
Done.
All right.
I mean, we're gonna get a cage at the gym, so
that's
I'll,
right.
I'll roll with you. And then we'll get
That's gonna
Paul.
backfire.
Backfire real fast.
I just fought in a cage, bro.
Technicality.
You fought
We-
Little Robert. It wasn't sanctioned. That's
Well,
not right.
We can get Jamal in there, and he can fight a UFC fighter in the cage. I mean, he doesn't have to win.
Right, you just said fight. You didn't say win. You didn't say last a certain length of time. Just get in there and do it.
It's like the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Like when what are your stipulations? Then here they are. Not good enough. You're still screwed.
Well,
All right.
What if we get 1,000 subscribers and we switch it from you doing no-gi to you doing a tournament?
No,
Come on.
absolutely not.
you can do. You're old enough now. You can do masters. I mean, you'll be all right.
I'm old
No.
enough I can do masters. You just got to be over 30.
No.
That's what I say. But then when I go and I see like Larry do it in the Masters, and he goes against the Mountain from Game of Thrones, and he throws him across the gym. That was so funny to see Larry in the air.
Oh, yeah, you were there too, weren't
Is that
you?
a body? That's Larry.
That's a really large body getting tossed
How
like a
did that-
rag doll.
How did that happen? And I see the guy stand up. Oh,
Yeah.
That guy was massive.
That
It was
dude
insane.
huge, and it wasn't fat either. He was a strong dude. He was
Built.
like the Mountain.
Got all the stem cells.
Yeah, all of them, and maybe some steroids.
See, that's a genetic thing I was talking about. Like, you know what? You got what you got. Make the best of it. Have fun. Don't worry about other people's abilities. What else we got, Austin? Was that it?
I mean, we can do one more or we can wrap it up your call.
No, we can do one more.
All right, so the last one I thought was kind of interesting. There's this 34-year-old disabled veteran. He's starting BJJ for the first time. He chose the sport to gain confidence and lose weight. He's wondering what are some tips you would give him, and why would you do that? I think that's a misconception about jiu-jitsu. It's like you're not going to necessarily lose weight.
Well-
You probably will, but I don't know I don't know his body type. I don't know his style. I don't-
Yeah, the
you know.
weight loss thing is interesting because if you want to lose weight, it's going to be diet.
Right,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? You can't out exercise a bad diet.
But you're willing, because that's one of your goals, you're willing to change your diet to make yourself
Absolutely.
better at jiu-jitsu. Because,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to roll around and stuff without
But,
extra.
You have to be intentional about losing weight while doing jujitsu.
Right,
You
yeah,
can't just,
jujitsu's not gonna-
assume that jujitsu is going to
Yeah.
make you lose the
I
weight.
mean, it's going to help, but, I mean,
Yeah.
if you only do it 2 times a week like I do, I mean, you're not getting a whole lot of, cardio and stuff. I mean, we do warm-ups and stuff, but, it ain't going to drop 100 pounds or whatever your goal is.
I mean, I work out almost twice a day, every day. Not long, they're 15, 20 minutes max, but I like donuts, so you can't tell.
Sugar is delicious.
Just get some vegan donuts, bro.
No.
They're a thing.
I
We
don't
went
care.
we went to the farmer's market yesterday, and they had all these stands, coffee, donuts, which are my two. I don't care about all the plants and stuff. Give me coffee, give me some donuts. Vegan donuts. Now
Which is funny because they probably all had lines on them except for the vegan donuts one. Right?
the vegan donuts was the longest line.
No way. I don't
People
believe you.
loved it.
Does
It was
not
huge.
compute. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I didn't have to wait in any other line except for a donut, and I'll tell you this, it was fantastic. I was a little questionable at first, but I was like,
I think if you put enough sugar in anything, it'll taste good.
it did have a strawberry
There you
glaze
go. Yeah,
topping.
perfect. Yeah, it would be.
It could have been real strawberries though.
What donut wouldn't be vegan? Isn't vegan just like no meat products?
That's what that was.
So wouldn't all
no
donuts be vegan?
Plant. It all has to be all plant based.
Isn't it all plant? Doesn't flour come from a plant? Like,
Well, maybe isn't there like milk or there's got to be something, eggs or something.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It tasted
I'm
like an-
stupid. Don't
It's got to be like almond milk or some
Yeah, right.
crap.
We're gonna get canceled by vegans.
I'm sorry, I don't know anybody. I'm ignorant. A lot of things. If you listen long enough, you'll get it. But yeah, as far as confidence, like, go ahead.
I would say you get a confidence, especially like in our school we do a lot of self-defense stuff. You know, breaking grips, especially with the kids stuff. And I can see them. You know, they come in, they won't even really look at me, or you know, they always want to run back to their parents. But you know, after they come for so long, they start to develop friendships, and you know, I see them break out of their shell. You know, that might not be the same with adults, but it's still kind of the same thing. You get a lot of people that are reserved and they don't want to do. You know, this is way outside of my shell. You know, this is and you know, you get them to come in and do a few things, and next thing you know, they're showing up at parties, and you know, they're not so afraid to walk or to their car by themselves and stuff. You know, and
It might not be an instant thing. Like,
No.
I think just like people want to stripe up, and that the last person was like, I'm here 2 months and I'm not great already. It's like, well, you have to let it work.
Right.
Like, give it a year before you start
you hating on it.
hating on it. Yeah. I mean, look at my daughter. Like, my daughter started with zero confidence at all, and one of the last times she was there, I think you and I were both pulling her off of some kid because she wanted to get the joke. Like, time, Caden, get off.
We're done now. We're done. He's crying. Get off.
We were both looking at each other like, what's wrong with this little girl? She's like, I was so close.
Gets up. She's like, oh, let me kill him.
Guy's in a puddle of tears. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Just got a tap, bro. He was like, what? yeah. I mean, I see. Yeah, I think there'd be more. Yeah, it's more ego deflating than.
Yeah, at first it builds no confidence. Like, at first you're like, I thought I could fight a little bit.
I thought I would be able to know something.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be able to do something, and then it depends on who you roll with. You may or may not do anything.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not sure how big your factory that you work in is.
Very
but-
small.
Okay, so I got a little bit bigger one, and every now and then, like, jiu-jitsu comes up because everybody knows that I'm into it, and I'll have these guys that are, they're grown men that should know better, and you know how guys pick on each other and just bust balls, whatever.
right.
And I've had it where one friend is trying to like set up a fight between me and this other guy, and they're like, you might win, but you'll know you were in a fight. Like, no. So like, I don't want to be that guy, but no, like, too many people, I think, without doing jiu-jitsu, without going through the training, think they can fight.
Right.
And until you do that,
Exactly.
you just don't
You
understand.
really
that
have no
you can't.
idea.
Yeah. So yeah, your first foray into jiu-jitsu is not going to be a confidence builder. It's going to crush your spirits.
Yeah.
So
It's funny.
prepare for that.
Yeah, it's funny you were saying about your work. When I first met Chad, like one of the first times, he's like, I got a gym, come check it out. And started training with him a little bit. And he's like, hey, this Friday, I'm going to have a fight night. I was like, oh, fight night? Like, we're going to watch fights? He's like, no, I'm going to have fights at the gym. I was like, what? No, I'm going to have a boxing fight.
That's awesome.
And it was all people from Weller. There was nobody that trained at the gym. It was all these, like, people that were talking, like, I could beat you up. I could beat you.
Yeah.
Chad's like, pulled out a piece of paper, write your name down, hey.
Prove it.
Come check it out, Won't charge you nothing, we'll
He should have charged for
we'll
sure.
get you, I think he charged $5 to get in to watch.
Nice.
So then he hooked everybody up with gloves, and there were some people that could do some things and some people that got probably pretty hurt.
It's like, this was a mistake.
Yeah, we did it once and only once.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, but it was cool. But yeah, like you said, a lot of people was like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass, and then they picked themselves off the ground and just like, oh, maybe I don't quite understand what I'm doing.
I watched that happen to an old guy boss. This is back, 2001 maybe. And he kept on picking on this young kid. The kid was, I don't know, 22, 24, whatever. Big kid, but just kind of young and a little mature. And this guy worked on a different shift and came and they'd pass each other. And this old guy would just give this guy grief every day. So one day this kid had his lunchbox on the machine. And this old guy comes over and says, "Get your lunchbox off my machine." This kid says, "It's my machine until your shift starts." And the guy goes, "It's my machine all the time," and took his lunchbox and tossed it in the trash. Oh, the kid had enough. Like, he just kind of like, okay, whatever, I'm a young kid, I'll take it from this old timer. Picked this old guy up and put him in the chip gone. So this old guy gets out ready to fight. And the guy goes, "Hey, look, if you want to fight, let's not lose our jobs. Let's just go outside and do it." So they go outside and, we're all gathered around like, this is going to be great. And all the way there, this guy's, "I'm going to beat your ass. I was in Vietnam. I did all this and, Army this and, I killed people." Yada. I mean, just talking shit all the way out the door. And this kid is laughing. Like, he's just thinking, this is the funny, I can't believe I'm doing this. He's just kind of like giddily, like awkward, like, is this really happening? Just kind of like,
real life right now?
Smiling. So they go out there and they clinch up and they're fighting, and the kid is still like laughing and the old guy is obviously raging pissed.
Irate.
So the old guy reaches back, bam, cold cocks this kid. And the kid, like, it kind of looked, you remember when Jamal got in the fight and he got clipped the first time and he was all happy and smiley, having a good time, and then he got hit and he's like, "Okay, we're going to fight now." And that kid had the same look. He just went, "Oh.
Well, we're going to do this,
and just beat the tar out of that. I mean, just beat that man. And they came inside and the dude was just, I mean, he sprained an ankle. I mean, his hand was broke. He was a bloody mess. He goes back inside, and of course, all the managers are like, "What happened?" And to his credit, he said, "I fell."
That's a good idea.
But yeah, one of those things where a lot of people think they can throw down, but you can't. Like, everybody has to get, "How do you know how to fight?" It's like, I wrestled all through high school. Like,
right.
I was fighting every weekend.
I'm used to this.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. That's you never know, man.
Yep.
Nowadays, you really never know what you're gonna,
Nope.
Because the geekiest looking nerd is probably a black belt jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, I was going to tell a story earlier, but it kind of got washed under the rug. We had a guy come in our gym from Chicago, and he looked like Harry Potter. He honestly did. He was the same rank as me, and he looked exactly like Harry Potter. He probably weighed 30 pounds less, and we rolled, and I'm like, I just got my ass handed to me by Harry Potter, and there's not much you just tell that, like the kid you fought. Yeah. Like, that's just what he does. Like, he has more time to do it. He's more into it. He's more thoughtful about the process. And like when I had the Bulls death match with Andrew.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, I outweigh him by I don't know how many pounds, a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, like, it was fun, and I didn't totally get wrecked, but yeah, he won that fight. You know what I mean? I didn't win that.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
And Paul's alive. We had someone comment on the YouTube clip like yesterday, I think, saying, "Hey, I haven't seen either of these guys in a minute." It's like, well, Paul's on vacation. I don't know what Andrew does. I thought they still do a podcast, but
they do. I don't know if Andrew has been training or not.
They're both alive. Yeah. I heard he got a girlfriend.
There's been girlfriends.
That'll do it.
Some of the people have been gotta hang out with them.
Yeah,
idiots.
I gotta commit Harry Carey. I think just get the. Is that too cool? I'm just a coward. I can't. Somebody's got to do it for me.
So the lesson is, don't get a girlfriend.
Basically,
yeah.
Unless they're involved in it, then it kind of makes it a little easier.
Yeah, boyfriends are even worse. We're so much more needy.
Yeah, so needy.
I seriously can't take care of myself. It's not an option anymore. My wife dies, I'm a close second. Like, I don't know how to cook. I don't know. How do you pay bills? Like, I don't get it.
What do I do with this whole house thing?
All I do is I sign my check over, I go to work, and like everything else is taken care of.
Easy.
Yeah. Life is simple. Without her, I'm dead.
But you've got all that Bitcoin.
I do. It just sits there.
It's gonna wear out eventually, though. Can't spend it eventually.
This could be another 7-hour show. I can see the look on his face.
We got to stop now.
Wrap it up, Paul. Sponsors, Facebook, all that crap. Top Mount Apparel.
Top Mount Apparel. To the Top Podcast.
Facebook, Grappling Dads Podcast. Instagram, Grappling Dads _podcast. Twitter, Grappling Dads. I do a lot of tweets now. Getting some steam.
Nice. Look at you go.
Funny fact. So I tweeted about Gordon Ryan going to one championship. Some dude slid into the DMs, and I was like, oh, this has got to be fake. And he goes, "Hey, saw your tweet. We'd love to send you some free stuff. I'm going to email it to you." And I go, "Okay, whatever. I'll give you the email. What's the worst you can do? Send me spam." And apparently he's going to send us some free one championship stuff
Oh shit.
just because I tweeted about it.
Well, that's cool.
I'll follow up and make sure that's true, but I was pretty surprised.
Good things don't happen to us. It's got to be big.
He said, hey, check
Yeah.
my list of tweets and check who's been tweeting me. I'm legit. Like, he knows he comes off like a spam. So I was like, well.
Well, that's
Hey,
cool.
if one championship wants to sponsor the show, that'd be the funniest thing ever. But I'll take it.
They already talked about Gordon Ryan and Buchecha. Buchecha said he'd welcome in
Oh, I'd love to see that
one
fight.
championship. Yeah.
I want to.
But then the next thing is it going to be jiu-jitsu or is it going to be MMA? Because
don't
one
know.
championship does grappling matches
I-
in
I-
between their
Supposedly it's
MMAs.
going to start with grappling.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to see him move into MMA just to see him lose.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing some stuff already,
Yeah.
but
Not that I'm a Gordon Ryan hater. I just like he's so dominant.
He's
Like do
so-
something that
yeah.
you're not as good at.
Yeah,
Try
right?
something new.
yeah.
Let's challenge him to a tennis match.
There you go.
I could take him.
I would say I couldn't beat him, but
Watch him be amazing.
Could you imagine watching me try to go left and right like these lateral
Just-
movements?
your legs, your top would fall off.
Your knees would
I
give
start
out.
crying.
What happened to Paul? It was like he's just trying to warm up.
He was trying to make contact with the ball.
Yeah, I can't wait till I go back to class and do my stupid little warm ups in the middle. Everybody's running. I'm like, what's with this guy? He's like, purple belt, bro. Like, I don't do this shit.
Someone pulled that. I can't remember who it was. Now I'm saying it out loud. But someone stopped in the middle and wasn't warming up. They're like, I'm pulling a Paul.
It precedes me.
You are known as the Paul every time you don't warm up.
Perfect.
I don't know if we have any there. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe. We
Yeah,
got another
subscribe.
subscriber within the past hour.
Oh,
Dude.
rock on.
I don't know
You're
how.
awesome. I don't know
Considering
who
all
you are,
the
but I love
Reddit
you.
hate I get. I've been banned on Reddit several times now. I accidentally.
It ain't cheating. You're not trying. You're doing it right.
Yeah, right. I shared one of our YouTube clips to the wrong subreddit that had nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. I think it was like coronavirus Michigan, and they just like post updates. And I got a message: permanently banned, shared jiu-jitsu.
Aw.
Whoops.
Like whatever I can do. Get out there.
Yeah, cool.
All right, cool. That's all we got. Well, I want to thank Ben for coming on the show.
Yeah,
That
thanks
was
for having
fantastic.
me.
It was a lot of fun. I miss seeing you, buddy.
I know, I miss you guys
Yeah.
too. I've been hoping to do this here shortly. We have to do it again when we get all three of us in here. We can all look at each other.
I know, it'd be
If
fun.
My back
We'll
can
have,
be
to,
to the
we'll have to
camera.
have like, we need more cameras,
Just the
Austin.
back of my head.
Yeah, I'll have to do like we'll do this. We'll like do the selfie. You know? This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
I appreciate it,
Yeah,
guys.
Thanks. All right, take it easy. Peace.
See ya.
Don't quit.